Hong Kong Direct is your weekly magazine show delivering you the best of Hong Kong racing right throughout the course of the season. We've got 4 meetings left to go here in Hong Kong and we've got 2 episodes left of Hong Kong Direct for the season. Here's what's coming up on this show this week, and we've got an in-depth interview with Joao Moreira, who sits down for a comprehensive chat on his list of achievements through the course of the season about being back on top. Joao Moreira, part 1 of a 2-part interview with Joao Moreira. And we've got the retirement section here. We see a lot of horses that leave Hong Kong and they go on to great lives outside of the racing industry. Terrific to have your company here on the Hong Kong Direct, and we sit down this week for part 1 of a 2-part interview with Joao Moreira. And we have a new champion jockey for the 2021 season. Joao Moreira will be crowned a champion for the 4th time in his Hong Kong racing career. His first championship since he's been able to win it 3 years in a row, going back to the 2016-2017 racing season. And with just 4 meetings remaining, Zac Purton has been outed for the last couple of meetings. There's a 27 win lead gap in favour of Joao Moreira over Zac Purton. And in the first part of this 2-part interview, I sat down with Joe to discuss his triumphs through the course of the season. Joe, it's been a huge season for you, over 140 winners as we speak now. Was that something you sort of envisaged at the start of the season, that a target you had potentially?
Honestly, no. I was just hoping that I could do well. I was hoping that I could win as many races as possible, but I didn't have a number in my mind that I had as a target. But no doubt I'm very happy to be sitting on that mark, and hopefully we can go further and further.
Of course, in the past you've had 170 wins in the season, 168 in the season. This season, with the sort of number you're on track for, what sort of satisfaction do you get out of that?
I'm very happy with the numbers. Even if I had better results, numbers in the past, under the circumstance that I'm in now, I'm not getting support of every stable as I was when I did ride a bunch of winners in the past. But getting to this mark and the strike rating that I've been able to put on, I think that's pretty good, and I'm very happy with that. Satisfaction, no doubt, it's in there.
You were last champion jockey in 2016, 2017. What's it been like over the last sort of 3 seasons, watching your number 1 rival here in Hong Kong, Zac Purton, taking out? What's it been like for you, not quite being at the same level in terms of number of wins, watching from behind?
Well, sometimes you experience that, not being at the top or having a hard time, teaches a lot. And I no doubt that I learned a lot from this position, being behind and watching others. That kind of put on a little bit more fire in myself and gave me that burst. I really need to bounce back. Yes, it was a bit of a frustration for myself not being at the top, but sitting at this point now, I think that was fantastic for me to grow as a person and as a human. You know, I'm not unique. Yeah, I've won a few titles, I've won some big races and this and that, but I'm not unique, and realized that was a big learn for myself. And as I said, being in this position now, being able to bounce back and being leading the championship, it definitely gives me more satisfaction, because it's very hard psychologically to toughen up, work hard and bounce back. You know, I always knew I had it in myself, I had confidence, but in some moments during all these last 3 years, I questioned myself and I was like, what am I doing wrong? What should I be changing? And apparently I was stable enough to just take my time, trying to work things around and make some changes and some adjustment. And apparently it did work very well. So yeah, we're heading to the end of the season, and I'm no doubt extremely happy the way how things has been for me in the last 12 months.
You speak of some of those changes or improvements that you've had to make within yourself. What were some of those?
First of all, I knew I was finding more and more difficult to deal with the trainers, because eventually they start getting tired to deal with you, and somehow I had to just change things around and give them some respect and a little bit of extra attention, and really express myself, my willing to ride for them, you know. And the other one that I would have to mention is my health. I've been finding very difficult to maintain my weight, even if I can ride very light like 115. I've been finding it very difficult to bring my weight down, because I've been walking around probably 3, 4, maybe even 5 pounds heavier than that sometimes, and keep on bringing my weight down week after week. It's been very difficult. So once we got a little bit of support from some specialists, that made my life much easier. And that was a consequence of other benefits, like once I start feeling better, psychologically I got stronger. And also when you working so hard to bring your weight down, your body becomes weak, and then when you're weak, you're vulnerable to injuries. And that's what happened to me a couple of times. And fortunately, now I can tell you that I've got no injuries. I'm feeling very well with myself. But no doubts, it's been 2 seasons pretty much blended together, and I just can't wait to come to the end of the season and have some time off to freshen up. But talking about the season, no doubt it's been a very good one to me, and I'm very pleased and thankful, no doubts, to every single person that cooperates, you know, has worked with me and helped me to get to where I am right now. I'm only there because of others. Nobody else can be someone else if there isn't others helping, and I do appreciate every single person helps, and I want to just say thank you very much to them all.
Growing up as a young kid in Brazil, your current position that you're in now, was it ever in your wildest dreams to get into sort of this, you envisage yourself in this position as you are now?
Not really. I remember the day I left home, Mum saying, "No, I don't want you to go anywhere." I told myself I was going to come back. I thought I was going to come back after 6 months or a year. And 22 years has gone by. And the journey that I've gone through, it's amazing. And I could never, ever have in my wildest dream that I could reach where I am right now. I mean, I was just hoping that I could make it as a jockey, could ride some horse, or maybe ride just some winners. But I'm being very determined to do very, very well everything that I was told. Being that way, it's what led me to be in the position that I am, which I'm very thankful to God for being in the position that I am, because through me, I know I can be helping others also to be motivated. You know, it's sometimes just having a word with one of those kids that are finding difficult or is starting off, going for those first steps. They see me very high up, but once I bring myself down in the same level as anyone else, they realize, oh, he's human and he has feeling as anyone else. If he got there, that means anyone else can, you know. And I encourage every kid that is starting off, don't ever anyone else tell you that you can't do it. You can. It's all on yourself. It depends on how hard and how committed you are. And I wasn't born with any skills. It's all been developed. I worked very hard. I was told to adjust my riding style, my riding skills, and trying to learn different tricks and this and that. And once I realized that I should be doing what I was getting told, things start changing to better and better. So thanks God, things has never gone back.
Absolute superstar of Hong Kong racing, not only Hong Kong racing, but world racing in general, Joao Moreira. That's part one of a 2-part interview that we've got coming up with Joao Moreira. Here are some of his stats. Hong Kong champion jockey. This will be his 4th time reigning champion here in Hong Kong, from 14 through to 17, and then a little bit of a lull with Zach Purton, but back on the board this year with the 2021 Group 1 wins in Hong Kong for Joao Moreira of 20 group races in Hong Kong, 58. He tipped over 1,000 winners this season as well, so he's up to 1,094, a win percentage of 21.7. And look at the prize money, staggering prize money earnings there for Joao Moreira. An absolute champion, and he'll be back with us here on Hong Kong Direct next week. As we go to the break, don't forget you can get involved with the voting for the most popular jockey and also most popular horse. That's on the website hkjc.com. You've only got 5 days left.
Voting for the most popular horse of the year, 2021. Golden 60. Hot King Prawn. Panfield. Sky Darcy. Waikuku. Wellington. Voting for the most popular jockey of the year, 2021. Alexi Bedell. Jerry Chow. Vincent Ho. Joao Moreira. Zach Purton. Caris Teeton. Vote now and support your favourites.
Welcome back to Hong Kong Direct. Don't forget you can check out our sister show, that is Racing to Win. That has all the information coming up about Sunday's meeting at Sharjah, a 10-race program. You can head to the website hkjc.com, follow the links down to the audio and video section, click on Racing to Win. You can watch the main show where we dissect two of the main races coming up and an in-depth preview of each and every other race on the undercard. That is Racing to Win on the website hkjc.com. Now, in recent weeks here in Hong Kong, we've seen plenty of big names on the retirement list, Exultant and Time Warp, and also we're going back to earlier in the season, Beauty Generation was retired and he went off to a nice home down at Living Legends in Melbourne, Australia. But there's also another retirement avenue for horses here in Hong Kong that can be sent overseas, rehomed, retrained, and off to a successful and healthy career off the track here in Hong Kong. Andrew Lejeune recently caught up with Amy Taylor from the retirement scheme ITR to find out a little bit more about the role her organisation plays.
Amy, thanks for your time today. Before we get into it in terms of what you're actually doing, ITR, give us an overview. What does it actually mean and what are you trying to achieve with it all?
Basically, it's an adoption program for racehorses, and what we're trying to do is make that process of going from racehorse to retired horse a lot easier for the horse and for the owners as well. It's a new concept. Basically, we take the horses on and we rehabilitate them, retrain them, and then rehome them through a series of different processes.
So how does it work then, the process in terms of when a horse is retired? Are you finding now that owners and trainers are coming to you, or are you approaching them?
Well, they're coming to me now. In the beginning, it was a lot of word of mouth. I had some great friends. I met Ian Sham as well, and he's been a really big supporter of ours. David Ferraris, he actually helped us get a lot of horses in the beginning, and you know he's as passionate about the horses as we are, and seeing them going on, having great lives off the track. So. That was a big help in the beginning. And then once the ball got rolling a little bit and a little bit more publicity, and we started to have owners talk to their friends, and then that was the type of emails I was getting as my friend's got a horse in your program, we'd like to do the same. So it was great.
And the owners are subsidising this as well, which is fantastic, finding them alive after racing. So when a horse arrives with you out of a racing stable, what is the process? I know it's a long process, but if you could for us, how do you actually go about retraining a racehorse? It's
so we had to split it up into two sections. So we have some that are in a rehabilitation program, some that are in a retraining process. So we contract professional retrainers in New Zealand and Australia, and they basically help us determine what the horse is going to be suitable for, which helps us tailor a program to that horse's individual needs. So the rehabilitation horses are basically ones that have got either significant veterinary history or something along those lines that just means they'll be suitable for pleasure riding or just full paddock retirement. And then our retraining horses can basically, they get off the plane out of quarantine, and we can give them a little bit of downtime, and then they start from scratch. You're really, because of the way the people you're dealing with, the new homes that they're going to go to, you really have to bring the horse back to reality a little bit. It's such a different world here. They're exposed to a lot, which actually is a massive benefit. But once they've sort of completed that retraining or rehab period, we then start the adoption process. So it's a lot of social media. People have to apply, and they have to have obviously horse knowledge, experience with thoroughbreds, and we want it to be a lifelong home.
So having a look through the website, some of the old names, there are some very familiar names on there as well, like Not Listening to Me, New Asia Sunrise, Thinking Big as well. So you've got some, real old stars you've got in the program. Yeah,
we do. New Asia Sunrise, he is probably, if you could say a pony club type horse, he is just the best we've ever had, really. He came with some issues, and we knew that he was never going to be a competition type horse. And those ones are always harder to find the homes for, but we were just really lucky, actually. We matched him up with a perfect woman in New Zealand, and he's pretty much seen more of New Zealand than I have. He goes to the beach, he hacks along the mountains. He's a really, really spoiled, very lucky horse. And Thinking Big, obviously, he's relatively new to our program. He's only not long retired. He's a horse that's really caught my eye. I love to have an off-the-tracker.
Okay. There's a couple of names on there as well, some real characters. The Sylph, who was always a bit of a handful on the racecourse. And the other one that caught my eye was Literature. Richard Gibson. He had a good record around Happy Valley, but he could get really fierce and really take hold and take charge in his races sometimes. So how do you take a horse like that and make it, a safe riding horse for someone out in the community?
It's funny you say that, because we've got a few that have come into the program, and I've had some pretty shocking reports from work riders, and so be very careful. I think the downtime really helps them. The change of environment, it makes a big difference. We rarely get one that's come with one of those type of reports and it's been exactly what they've said. So a perfect one actually is the same from Richard Gibson's stable, Sunshine Universe. He was the same, and even the vets said he wasn't lovely to deal with. So like Literature, we just brought them back to basics, gave them plenty of paddock time, and he's pretty much the same as New Asia Sunrise. He's on the hunt fields and chasing the dogs and the hares around New Zealand. So it's great and with a 66-year-old woman on him. Wow. So they're the ones. I love those stories because sometimes it's a backflip on what they were on the racetrack.
Great insight there with Amy Taylor touching on the international retirement scheme there that her organisation provides. So let's have a look at what we've got coming up here in Hong Kong over the next couple of weeks as we count down to the season finale. We've got Sha Tin racing on Sunday, 12:30 start time on air with a 1 o'clock start. We're back at Happy Valley for the second last meeting at Happy Valley coming up there next Wednesday night, a 9-race program, and then the season finale coming up at Sha Tin next Sunday, a big 11-race program. So it'll be an earlier start time there before we head back to Happy Valley for the final meeting of the season. Racing at Sha Tin Sunday, the main race comes up as race number 9, and David Hayes has his promising galloper Master Montaro engaged in the contest.
David, Master Montaro, you must have been much happier with the way he jumped last time.
He jumped well, and it was not a fast run race, but he still was able to run sizzling sectionals the last 400 and just missed. So if the tempo's a bit stronger in this race, he'll be coming hard late for sure.
Is he start something you have been working on in track work?
I just think he's a big horse that takes a while to gather, so that's the way he is. So I'm just accepting it now.
You've tinkered with the distances back to 1,000, 1,400, 1,400 again this week. What is his best distance?
I think 14. A fresh 1,200 and 14 is ideal.
And the 2-week backup's no issue with him?
Should be fine. He's eaten all the food and he's nice and relaxed, and I think he'll handle it easy.
David Hayes touching on Master Montaro in race number 9 coming up at Sha Tin on Sunday. As we leave you here for this week on Hong Kong Direct, Time Warp has been recently retired. He heads off to a new home, and what a horse he was, Time Warp. He was a 3-time Group 1 winner, a 2-time winner of the City Hong Kong Gold Cup, and that was his last win going back to last season of 2020 when he was able to prevail at the hands of Joao Moreira for Tony Cruz, the 3-time Group 1 winner with the 7 wins under his belt from 44 starts and just shy of 40 million in prize money.
Time Warp, in his usual customary role as the leader, by 2 lengths on Southern Legend and Dark Dream. 1.5 lengths back to Dr. Jeff, Citron Spirit, 1.5 Eagle Way. 2 lengths Exalted, he's beyond midfield at the 800 metres. Followed by Ho Ho Khan, Furore, 2 lengths away, Glorious Dragon, and Northern Superstar last, 23.38. So starting to click it up now is Time Warp. Leads a length on Southern Legend, Dark Dream, Dr. Jeff, Eagle Way, Citron Spirit. 2 lengths away is Exalted. Purton's got the Persuader out on him from Furore. Then came Ho Ho Khan, Glorious Dragon, and Northern Superstar. 300 to go. Time Warp leading here 1.5 lengths on Southern Legend, Dr. Jeff, Citron Spirit, Dark Dream, Eagle Way, Exalted. Still got 5 to make up here on Time Warp. Who's kicking? Citron Spirit, Exalted, and Eagle Way coming. Ho Ho Khan. Time Warp. What a gem of a ride from Moreira. Time Warp takes out the City Hong Kong Gold Cup. Oh, what a win.